The man behind the mask. Halloween night was never supposed to be different from the others. Pumpkins on the porch, kids in costumes, laughter echoing down the street. But that year we invited someone inside our home. Someone who should have never crossed the threshold. Block 1. The ordinary night. Halloween had always been special for us. My wife loved baking pumpkin pies, our kids carved jack-o'-lanterns, and even our dog, an old golden retriever, wore a silly little bat costume. It was tradition, a night of candy, games, and stories. That year felt the same. Streets glowed with orange lights, laughter rolled past our windows, and children shouted "trick or treat" until their voices cracked. I remember thinking, this is how every Halloween should feel. Safe, alive, bright. But I was wrong. So terribly wrong. Block 2. Meeting the neighbor. We met him at the neighborhood masquerade. He stood apart from the others, tall and still, dressed in a ragged scarecrow costume. A burlap mask covered his face, stitched with crude black lines for a mouth and hollow holes for eyes. He didn't speak, not once, just stood there, nodding, as though listening to some voice only he could hear. People laughed, thinking it was a clever act. But when he drifted toward us, when his silent gaze seemed fixed on me, my stomach tightened. Still, we were polite. It was Halloween after all. When the party ended, my wife, ever the kind soul, invited him to join us at our home for a late-night drink. He didn't answer, just tilted his head and followed. Block 3. Inside the house. Inside, everything felt off. The candles flickered lower, shadows stretched longer. Our dog, usually so friendly, growled from the corner, never taking his eyes off the scarecrow. We offered him food, a drink. He only sat at the table, mask still on, silent. "Why don't you take it off?" my wife asked gently. For the first time, he moved. His hand twitched toward the mask, then froze, shaking slightly, as though something was holding it in place. I remember leaning forward, whispering, "It's just us here. You can show your face." But when he lifted the mask, nothing. No skin, no features, just darkness. The air shifted. The house itself seemed to exhale cold. In an instant, he wasn't sitting anymore. He was across the room, on the dog. A blur of movement, a growl not human. The retriever yelped, scrambled, knocked over a chair, and fled, whimpering upstairs. Then he turned toward my wife. She screamed, stumbling back as he lunged, not with fists, not with weapons, but with that suffocating void where a face should be. I moved to stop him, but froze. My legs wouldn't respond, my voice wouldn't work. It was as though I was locked inside my own body, forced to watch. Her cry filled the room, and then silence. I don't know how long I stood there. A minute? An hour? Finally, I forced myself to move. The mask lay on the floor, empty. I stumbled into the hallway, toward the mirror by the front door, and that's when I saw it. My reflection. But it wasn't right. The eyes were too dark, the stitched mouth still there, grinning wide. And the way it stared back at me, not copying my movements. No, it was waiting, waiting for me to notice, waiting for me to understand. The neighbor we had met had never existed. It was me, or rather, the part of me I had let in when I laughed, when I welcomed him, when I said the words, "It's just us here. You can show your face." And in the mirror, he did. They found my wife the next morning, shaken, pale, unable to speak a word of what happened. The dog never came back down from upstairs. And me? I don't know anymore. Sometimes, late at night, I catch myself staring at the mirror. And sometimes, the reflection doesn't wait for me to move. So remember this, on Halloween night, be careful who you invite into your home, because sometimes it's not a stranger you should fear. It's the part of yourself waiting for an open door.